I am your host, Gary Baumgarten. I welcome you to the show, and I remind you to go to reportergary.com, reportergary.com. That's where the Pal Talk News Network site resides. Please go there early and often, just like voting in Chicago, for stories that you may or may not see, hear, or read in the mainstream media. Dane in New York, welcome to News Talk Online on the Pal Talk News Network.
Well, thank you very much, Gary. I just want to say that these recent events are quite despicable. But, you know, to really look back at history here, these are indicative of the times here. During a lot of war times, this has happened. In several generations, this has happened. You know, if we look at Vietnam, there were, you know, these group of soldiers that had come home and they had a hatred towards a certain Vietnamese group. We look at World War II, there were, you know, those people who had a certain hatred towards the Japanese or the Germans or et cetera, et cetera. Anti-Semitism has become a little bit more popular nowadays. Anti-Semitism, not just with Jewish people, but with Arab people as well. And it's on both sides of the spectrum here. I think that it is all of our responsibility to reject it. It's all of our responsibility to defuse these situations, to remove this types of propaganda, because we have a responsibility to reject it as human beings, for humanity, to even move forward. And I believe that this is just, like I said, indicative of the times. And it's not something that's going to get better unless we all decide that this is something that needs to change, especially, you know, on Martin Luther King's birthday, or on Martin Luther King Day. The fact is that, you know, people need to finally get to a point where there's no more bigotry. I mean, we all live on the same place. We have to learn to live together, whether you like somebody or not. We have to learn to live together, and I think it's, you know, we're in 2011. Couldn't we think of some sort of way to, you know, get along at this point? But like I said, it's our responsibility to reject these things.
Well, Dan, you made a very important point at the onset of your comments, and you said at times of war. You know, this kind of rhetoric, preparing the populace for hatred against another, is what is commonly done to prepare people for war. You have to be in the mindset of hating the other so that you dehumanize them, you see. Because if they remain human beings, it's much more difficult to kill them. Stop and think about that as a possibility. I don't think it's too far from reality. This nation has been at war almost its entire existence. I actually researched that recently, and there were only a few short periods of time when my nation, the United States of America, has not been at war. It may not have been a declared war. We haven't had a declared war since World War II, and one could question the legality of the wars that we have been involved in subsequently. But we have been at war almost the entire time of the existence of this great nation. It's time for us to be aware of these facts and be aware of the way we are being manipulated. Jonas in Switzerland. Jonas, welcome to News Talk Online on the Pal Talk News Network.
Thank you, Gary. It's a great subject today, and I refer to rooms in Pal Talk. I heard dangerous discussions, persuasions of killing and murdering people from other religions and sects. A Pakistani governor was killed. There was happiness in the rooms, and they planned more killing, and this all happened under our nose in the Pal Talk. And I agree very much with Eagle's Eye that there's need to keep an eye. If we leave criminals aside, you only damage yourself. it is necessary to keep an eye on Paltak rooms, the extremely dangerous things which happen, and I do not agree with your policy that they have the right to say, they have the right to start religious hatred and planning of murders. No, we have to do something. I complained to Donna and we discussed this the other day, and I was disappointed that we couldn't do anything. But this is a great problem even in Paltak, against Jews, against some sects of Muslims, and against liberals. Thank you.
Well, Jonas, that's a prime example of people who have a convoluted thinking about their religion. Just as the person who challenged Shira, who apparently was Jewish, had a convoluted view of the Jewish religion, their own. That one would think it is proper to kill a political leader because that political leader had the audacity to suggest that a woman who is a Christian ought not to be stoned to death for openly professing her love for Jesus Christ. That it was okay to kill that governor because he was blasphemous is disgusting. And that there are political and religious leaders who would support such an action is even more disgusting. Now, this is the kind of thing that we have to stand shoulder to shoulder and oppose, no matter what our religious persuasion may be or lack thereof. Shilda is joining us from Illinois. Shilda, welcome to News Talk Online on the Paltalk News Network.
Hello, Larry, or Gary, I'm sorry. When you said that, I thought I would go to Facebook, and I put in a search to see if they had anything else popped up. And I didn't come up with a group that said kill a Jew. I came up with groups that were disgusted by the Facebook event Kill a Jew. Unfortunately, people are posting in this, and the posts are staying. This is awful. Kill a Jew day? Just one? Just because Jews are greedy, disgusting, subhuman doesn't mean we should kill them? And they're staying. Those comments are there.
Well, you know, that's the problem when you create a page to oppose the other page, which isn't going to stay up because Facebook is doing their job. Then members of that group are going to come and espouse their hatred, aren't they? And again, that takes us right to the original premise of today's program, that we cannot stand up and we cannot stand by while people espouse this kind of hatred. And if you don't think the fact that they're coming out of the woodwork right now with this BS, in this instance against Jews, in other instances against Muslims, in other instances against Christians, in this particular point in time in history, it's just happenstance. Let me remind you that when Adolf Hitler rose to power, he was going to take back the economy from those who it was perceived ruined it. And today we are suffering similar economic hardships globally. When people are worried about losing their homes, and many people are, when people are losing their homes, and many people have, when people are losing their jobs, and many people are, they get frustrated, And sometimes they find a scapegoat. And there are organized efforts to scapegoat people. And that's what's going on in our society today. And that's what we have to stand up and oppose, no matter who that scapegoat may be. Max, where are you today? Are you in New Jersey? Welcome to News Talk Online on the Pal Talk News Network.
Two small things. Well, I'm going to address what you just talked about. But the first thing I wanted to address is I believe that, when it comes to religion, and this is something that Shira brought up, and, this is a subject that's really worth exploring, because I feel that every person has, and as you said before, Jews do not hate Muslims. It is a fallacy to think that. I'm sure that there are some who do, but most Jews could not care less about it. But however, I feel that every person has the basic right to choose to worship God in any way they choose to. And I don't have even a problem with the Muslim religion as long as somebody in the Islamic religion doesn't want to shove their religion in my throat. That's the problem that I have. Now, with that being said, I can say the same thing about not only Muslims, I can say the same thing about some Christians. Now, most Christians don't do that, but you do have some Christians who will go into YouTube videos and will post, Jesus will save you. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that kind of stuff. I mean, this is ridiculous to be able to, to hear this kind of stuff. To me, is insulting. I mean, how would like it for somebody, to hear a Jew knocking on your door and trying to convert you? And I don't want to hear that I'm going to go to hell because I don't believe in Jesus.
Max, listen. Your religion, which is my religion, doesn't believe in proselytizing. The Christian religion does believe in proselytizing. Christians are supposed to go forth and spread the good news. Not all Christians do, but a goodly number do. If you feel comfortable in your religious skin, and I think you do, it shouldn't bother you that somebody is trying to convert you to another religion. Now, it becomes a problem when they try to do it with the gun or the knife, and throughout history we have seen that, and we still see it, unfortunately, in some areas of the world. But I don't think that's happened to you. I don't think anybody's put a gun to your head and said, sign up to be a Jehovah's Witness or I'm going to shoot you or something like that. I'm out of time, so I'm going to say goodbye. I'll be back. By the way, those of you waiting in queue, don't go away, because the aftermath is 2 minutes away and you'll have your opportunity. I'll be back at 5 o'clock New York time tomorrow for another edition of News Talk Online on the Pal Talk News Network. Until then, peace out.